Have you ever heard tales of ghost ships lost in the mist, forever sailing the high seas? What about islands that appear and disappear, holding secrets and untold riches? Today, we re-diving into one of the most chilling maritime legends ever told, the haunted treasure of the Vanished Island. A place from which no one has ever returned to tell the tale. The story begins in the late 17th century, the golden age of piracy. Among the most feared and ruthless captains was a man known only as Silas the Serpent. He wasn't just a pirate, he was a master of the dark arts, said to have made pacts with ancient sea spirits for power and protection. His flagship, the Sea Serpent, was infamous, striking fear into the hearts of sailors across the seven seas. It was rumored to be unsinkable, cloaked in an unnatural fog that made it invisible to its prey until it was too late. Silas amassed a fortune beyond imagination, gold, jewels, and artifacts plundered from countless ships and coastal towns. But this wasn't just any treasure. It was said to be cursed, each piece carrying the tormented spirit of its original owner. Silas, paranoid and power-hungry, decided he needed a hiding place so secret, so protected, that no mortal could ever find it. He sought out an island that existed more in legend than on any map, an island the old sailors called Isla Perdida, the Lost Island. This wasn't a normal landmass. Isla Perdida was said to be a phantom island, appearing only on the foggiest nights under a new moon. It was a place where the veil between our world and the spirit world was thin. Legend has it that Silas performed a dark ritual, binding the island to his will and his treasure. He anchored his massive hoard deep within the island's caves, but he didn't use ordinary traps to protect it. He used the very souls he had captured, turning them into spectral guardians. The ritual was his undoing. In binding the treasure to the island, he also bound himself. But as he completed the final incantation, a monstrous storm erupted out of a clear sky. The Sea Serpent was swallowed by a colossal wave, and both Silas and his entire crew were dragged down to the depths. But their spirits did not find rest. They were eternally bound to the treasure, becoming its primary protectors. Silas himself became a phantom captain, forever patrolling the waters around his lost domain. For centuries, the story of Silas's treasure became a whisper among sailors, a campfire tale to scare rookies. Most dismissed it as folklore, but every few decades, a ship would vanish without a trace in the very region where Isla Perdida was said to appear. Wreckage was never found. No survivors ever washed ashore. The official reports would blame rogue waves or sudden storms, but the old sea dogs knew better. They knew the siren call of the cursed gold had lured another unfortunate crew to their doom. Our modern story begins in 1927 with a man named Captain Alastair Finch, a disgraced naval historian and obsessive treasure hunter. Finch had spent his life savings and reputation chasing myths. He stumbled upon a waterlogged journal from one of Silas's former crewmen, a man who had deserted just before the final fateful voyage. The journal contained cryptic charts, descriptions of the ritual, and a chilling warning about the island that breathes fog and feasts on souls. For Finch, this wasn't a warning, it was a roadmap. He gathered a small, desperate crew, men who were either brave, foolish, or simply had nothing left to lose. They set sail on a small, steam-powered vessel, the Seeker, equipped with the best technology of the time. They timed their voyage to coincide with the new moon, following the journal's obscure clues. For weeks, they found nothing but open ocean. The crew grew restless, on the verge of mutiny. But then, on the exact night predicted by the journal, it happened. A thick, unnatural fog rolled in, blanketing the sea. The temperature dropped, and the air grew heavy, smelling of salt and decay. And then, through the mist, they saw it, a dark, jagged silhouette against the moonless sky, Isla Perdida. Finch's logbook, which was later found floating in a sealed cask miles from the location, is our only record of what happened next. He described the island as profoundly silent, with twisted black trees and beaches of volcanic sand. There were no birds, no insects, just an oppressive stillness. The air was thick, making it hard to breathe, and the crew felt a constant sense of being watched. They followed the journal's map into the island's interior, heading for a network of seaside caves. As they entered the main cavern, they found it piles of gold coins that glittered in their lantern light, chests overflowing with jewels, and golden artifacts that seemed to hum with a dark energy. They had found the treasure of Silas the Serpent. But their celebration was short-lived, as the first crewman reached out to touch a golden goblet. A ghostly wail echoed through the cavern. The air grew ice-cold. From the shadows, spectral figures began to emerge. The ghostly crew of the Sea Serpent, their eyes glowing with malevolent light. Finch wrote of transparent forms with cutlasses, their silent screams filling the minds of the living. Panic erupted. The crew of the Seeker scattered, trying to flee the cave, but the apparitions were everywhere. They weren't just illusions. Their ethereal weapons could pass through flesh, leaving behind a soul-freezing cold that stopped the heart. Finch described seeing his men fall one by one, their faces frozen in terror. Their bodies left lifeless on the ground as their spirits were ripped from them and absorbed into the spectral horde. Finch somehow managed to escape the cave, scrambling back towards the beach. But the horror wasn't over. As he looked out to sea, he saw the ghostly silhouette of the Sea Serpent, its tattered sails glowing with an eerie light, blocking their escape route. Standing on the deck was the phantom of Captain Silas himself, pointing a spectral finger directly at him. The final entry in Finch's log is frantic, barely legible. He wrote, "The island is the trap. The treasure is the bait. We are not just being killed. We are being recruited. The fog is closing in. The ship it's coming for me. Do not seek this place. Let the sea keep its dead. Let the treasure remain untouched. It is not worth your soul." After that, the entry ends. The Seeker was never seen again. All hands were declared lost at sea. The only evidence of their journey was that single floating cask containing the logbook. Over the years, others have tried. In the 1970s, a high-tech research vessel with advanced sonar and mapping equipment ventured into the area armed with Finch's logbook. They vanished. In the early 2000s, a reality TV show about paranormal investigations chartered a boat to find the island. Their final satellite transmission was a frantic call, filled with screams and the mention of a ghost ship in the fog. Then silence. The legend of the vanished island serves as one of history's most terrifying warnings. It's a story about how greed can lead us to places we should never go. The treasure isn't just protected by ghosts. The treasure is the ghosts. Every soul it claims only adds to its spectral army, making it more powerful, its siren call more potent. But it's a self-perpetuating curse, a supernatural fortress that grows stronger with each failed attempt to breach it. So, is Isla Perdida real? Is the treasure of Silas the Serpent still out there, waiting in a fog-shrouded cave, guarded by an army of the damned? Perhaps some mysteries are best left unsolved. Perhaps some treasures are meant to remain lost. Because if you go looking for the treasure of the vanished island, you might just find it, but you won't be coming back to tell anyone. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the edge of history. Stay curious and stay safe.